Hey, you guys, I told you we was going to be back again. I had to go inside and get my jacket because it was getting a little nippy out here. And this is an important one that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I mean, everything's important to a degree, but this is a very important one. Ooh, that lighting looks interesting, doesn't it? Ooh. But I wanted to talk to you guys about basically the fact that you have to stop, because this is something that I struggled with for a long time. You have to stop trying to convince people, okay, of anything, right? Have y'all ever been in a situation where no matter how hard you tried, everyone involved or connected to said situation just seemed to have a gripe or an issue with you? Have you, been in a situation like that? Y'all can let me know in the comments, because this is a conversation. Because, like, my whole life, I grew up getting judged and bullied, like, from a young age. My whole life, it was like situations that would happen to me that I never really understood why, because I never really tried to do anything to hurt people. Ooh, look at that. That looks crazy. Like, I never tried to do anything to, like, upset anyone or hurt anyone ever in my life. Like, I would never want someone to be feeling bad or in pain because of something that I did to them, right? But I would always encounter situations where people would just be, like, really negative and kind of hateful towards me, and it never made sense. Like, I could never figure out why I was constantly, like, the butt of everyone's joke or the focus of everyone's hostility. And I would just keep trying to be more, like, quiet or amicable or compromising or helpful to basically downplay or diminish or counteract the hatred that I was receiving from people, right? And I finally, at least where I am right now, I'm still working on it, but honestly, I'm finally to the point where I don't really give a fuck if people like me or understand what I'm saying. But what I found is that when it comes down to me, like, not really seeking the validation, I have people who go out of their way to purposefully remind me that I'm being denied the validation. And then I get an attitude and get angry, and I have to work on that. Like, it's not so much anger, but it's like defensiveness. So I still have to work on that too, because when people see you growing and when people see you healing, they will literally purposefully do things to even poke more at you, despite what they've already done. Have y'all ever been in that position? Like, have y'all been in a situation where you just don't understand why people are such haters towards you? Because that's where I was for a long time. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I didn't really know why there was just so much being thrown at me that was, like, negative. And it hurt me a lot. And what I feel guided to tell you guys today is not necessarily that you shouldn't care about it, not necessarily that you should ignore it all the time. That's part of it. But more so, what I want to tell you guys is, like, this is understanding what it's about. This is about you understanding where that negativity and where that hatred comes from, because they were going to hate you anyway. It's coming from the fact that you upset people's spirits. And I know people talk about this all the time, but this is a message for those of you who have identified what's going on, and you're pretty much aware of what's going on to the point where you're working diligently on yourself to not allow it to affect you. But you have to understand, you're about to be thrown in positions and put in positions and situations where you are literally going to be picked apart just because of who you are. It's because you're rising. It's because you're growing. It's because you're ascending. And it's especially true for those of you who feel like you're outgrowing your situation. You feel like you've just stretched. You've stretched bigger than the space in which you're being encapsulated. And I talked about this in one of the tarot readings that I did recently about like when you are a caterpillar in a cocoon and you're evolving into a butterfly, once you've reached the stage where you've grown your wings, you can't stay in the cocoon. You have to emerge. And now a lot of us who've been in those positions where we've been bullied or we've been hated on are emerging. And what we need to know as this emergence transpires and continues to take place and actualize itself within our reality is that they were going to hate you anyway, boo. They was going to hate you anyway. They was going to have a problem with you regardless of whether you evolved or not. They were going to find something to pick you apart about whether you evolved or not. They were going to have something to laugh at. They were going to find something to poke fun at. They were going to find a way to try to take you down because they hated you regardless. And when that hatred, it's like a core thing. It's like programming that comes from deribonucleic acid, DNA. It comes from the DNA. And I know I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or psychologist, so please don't take this as scientific, medical, legal, or any type of professional advice. But I have life experience advice. And if you trust the school of life, then you can listen to what I'm saying. But from what I've noticed, which may be scientifically proven or not, is that people's DNA is not just a collection of protons, neutrons, and electrons, and atoms, and molecules. It's a collection of memories. It's a collection of experiences. We don't even know all the ways that the human brain maneuvers and activates. And a lot of the behaviors stem from a very primitive, core-focused place that's not that complicated to explain. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the one that's correct. And more than likely, there's been a repetitive hatred for you because of the light that you hold. Somebody talking loud in her car. But there's a repetitive hatred of you because of the light that you hold. And it doesn't take anything to activate it. All it takes is for you to appear. Poof, bitch. All it takes is for you to appear and step into the room. And people have a problem with you. I was just having a conversation with one of my fellow Pisces friends. And we were talking about like how our birthdays are coming up. And I asked if she had any plans, and we were talking about the plans that we either had or did not have. And I don't be making plans on my birthday because I just be wanting to wing it. I be wanting to eat my favorite food, have me some Oreos dipped in milk, watch some of my favorite shows, play The Sims. Like, I just be wanting to chill and go somewhere out in nature so I can absorb the sun and, be outside or be close to some type of water or something like that. That's really all I be wanting to do. But I was talking to her about it, and we got onto the subject of our plans, and I told her, like, I really don't make plans anymore because every time I would make plans, people would cancel their plans with me. Like, they would find a reason not to show up. And I know people have lives and people have things going on, and it's not really like me being upset that people canceled their plans, but it was more so the disrespect of being dishonest when it comes to agreeing to the plans in the first place, that would irk me. Because it's like, if I say I want to do something for my birthday and you really don't want to come, or you're really not vibing with what I want to do, that's fine. I'm still do that shit, bitch. I don't care. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing because you don't want to come. I just want to know if I have to be on a set time frame, because I want to respect everybody's time. I want to know if I have to plan for a specific amount of seats, or, tickets, or preparation, or what needs to be done. I can't stand when people string me along, because it doesn't change whether I'm going to do something or not if you go or you don't go. But it does irritate me on the day of that you decide, after RSVPing or saying that you're going to go, that you decide that you're not going to go. And that's irritating. Or if you say, I'll think about it and I'll let you know, but you don't let me know until the last minute. It's very irritating. So I had to deal with that my whole life. Like, I would have birthday parties as a kid, and people would say that they were going to come. They would invite me to their birthday parties, and I would come to their birthday parties. But whenever I had a birthday party, like, my mom was a single mom, and I was in a school district with a lot of people who had more money than us. And she would put a lot of effort into a birthday party. She would buy little hats. She would bake a homemade cake. She would get candles. She would spend money. And mostly, it pissed me the fuck off. It really pissed me off when people who said that they were my friend at school, or would use me as a, seat filler friend when their other friend wasn't around, or because we had a class together. It was, that type of energy where I knew people were like including me, maybe because they felt obligated to include me, or they were coming because they felt obligated to come, or their parents made them come, something like that. Like, I never really liked that type of energy, because it's like, bitch, if you don't like me, just don't like me straight up. If you don't want to hang out with me, don't hang out with me. Girl, boy, sir, ma'am. Like, it was more so that I would watch my mom put so much effort and money that I knew could be going towards a bill, or it could be going towards something that we could do together, like a movie. I didn't like that, to see her go through that. And then for her, like, it was crazy, because I was like feeling emotions for her. And that's the result of like being in a single parent household, and over like adultification, and like having more responsibilities, therapy talk, all that stuff. But it's like, I would watch her put in all of that effort, and then I knew that the weight of me being let down would let her down. So it would upset me, but I tried to not be upset so that she wouldn't be upset. And I kind of just built up this callous to where it's like, okay, listen, this is what I want to do for my birthday, but in reality, I know all of y'all ain't going to come together and do it, so I'm not even going to do it. I'm just going to do what I want to do. And then that morphed into me saying, you know what? If I'm hanging out with people, or I'm around people who either for some reason feel obligated to hang out with me because they know that I'm supportive and they've been using up my energy, and they know that they haven't been reciprocating it, and they feel obligated but they really don't want to be there, or if I'm hanging out with people who only want me around to support them but don't want to support me the same way as I support them, then instead of me just not planning something for myself, or instead of me not going after my dreams or pursuing my goals because I don't feel like I'm going to be supported, I just need to hang out with different people, or become more centered within, to not need the validation from those people, and to realize that camaraderie, or that socialization, isn't necessarily the end all be all for what it is that I'm meant to achieve. And I know it sounds very like me, I, but I think it's very important that a lot of us who have been in those positions where we've dealt with adultification, or we've been in those positions where we overcompensated for others' emotions and feelings, or we've put how we feel on the back burner, or minimized ourselves, like I said in the beginning, compromising too much, or fading into the background, fading into the wall, because our energy has offended someone on a genetic DNA level and we don't have any control over that. I feel like it's important to talk about this because it's time for us to cease that behavior, okay? It's time for that behavior to stop. And if you're someone who's been through that, or you've experienced that, or you've lived your life like that, or you've had those types of situations happen, first of all, it's necessary for you to identify it. Because once you can identify it, then you can work on accepting the reality of it. And once you accept the reality of it, you can work on resolving it, or basically rejigging, reorganizing your surroundings, your environments, your social groups, and your circumstances to receive a better result. And for a long time, it'll probably be something that you do very individually. It'll probably be something that you do alone, but it's going to be something that ultimately benefits you. And basically, they were going to hate you anyway. That's what I said. If they hate you now, if they hated you before, they're going to hate you in the future. And there's no need for you to diminish or downplay how you feel in a situation or change how you behave if you're not hurting anyone. Because if you're hurting someone, that's a different story. But there's no reason for you to acclimate to other people's judgment and hatred and change who it is that you are. If you have a bright light and you have something that you want to shine your light on, there's no reason for you to change how you are to accommodate for those people who were already going to hate you anyway. They were just looking for a reason. And more than likely, they didn't have a reason. So a lot of times they have to make one up. So stop trying to convince those people that you have worth. Stop trying to convince those people that you have value. Stop trying to convince those people that they should listen to you or that you have something to say. Just say whatever the fuck you need to say. And to be honest with you, I don't know necessarily what the solution is, because I've begun to say what it is that I need to say regardless of how people are going to feel about it. I'm still working on it. But I know the next step after you've accepted it and after you start to change into someone who's more confident, or evolve into someone who still stands firm and speaks their truth, after that, you're going to have to deal with the people who purposefully dogpile you because they see you've overcome the bullying. They see you're not going to conform anymore. They see that you're no longer going to minimize yourself, and you now are shining a little bit brighter than you were before. They're going to try to dogpile you to put that light out. And when they know that you're going to speak up regardless, or when they know that you're going to fight regardless, when they know that you're still going to show up and show out regardless, they're going to then put the heat on even stronger. And you may react differently than me, but I know for me personally, I tend to react in a very kind of defensive way, because it's like, okay, I've already overcome this. Don't get up in my face with that motherfucking bullshit, okay? Don't get in my face trying to now take me down after I've gained this confidence, because you're still mad. And I have to learn to, simply smile and be like, po little tink tink, bless your heart, and continue. That's what I'm working on right now. And I'll let y'all know what the next step is when I figure it out. But I felt like that was important to say. So if that helps you guys, y'all get in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts on it is, what you've experienced in your life. And I'll see y'all next time. Do the things. Like and subscribe to catch the vibe. I love you guys. Thank you for your support. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.